police academies all across this country never address the oath of office. Yet every single cop has to swear an oath of allegiance to the Constitution. Why don't we examine what the role of law enforcement, of sheriffs, of chiefs of police, what is our role in the protection of the American Republic, of our constitutional republic? The ultimate goal of all three branches of government, and we're the executive branch, we're the executors of the law, is to protect liberty. And if we have to do that against the FBI or the IRS or the EPA or the CDC or the USDA, then that's our job. Sheriffs, let's do our duty and protect the people from all enemies, both foreign and domestic, as we've promised to do, and save our country. We have the power. If the sheriffs of this country will just unite and be unified in keeping their oath of office and defending the American people against oppression and abuse of government, we could take back our country tomorrow.
Good morning, Winchester, Virginia, and Frederick County in Virginia. This is Dana B with Charlie M and Scotty S. We are the 3%, the 3% that try to save America. And we're here this morning with an incredible person, an incredible sheriff. We know an awful lot about him, but you don't. So we got an opportunity today to talk with one of our favorite people, Sheriff Mack, Sheriff Richard Mack from Arizona. And he is so busy. We're going to kind of run through this morning and ask some questions that will show you pretty much what we do, what he does, and how we can save this country. And you all know what's going on in Virginia, and hopefully we get some information from him as well on what we might be able to do here. But before I start, I'm going to ask Scott, since we are Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries, to take a couple seconds and give thanks to the Lord for this beautiful day and the opportunity that we have to talk with Sheriff Mack. So, Black Robe Regiment, friend of mine, if you would take us in.
All right. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day and thank you for this hour. We just ask that you bless this gathering, dear Lord, and let us use this to worship you and glorify you in the blessed name of Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Scott. So I will turn it over to our incredible facilitator, Charlie, who's the co-chair of our Mountain Patriot Educational Ministries. And we'll have some fun this morning here with Sheriff Mack. All yours, Charlie.
Thank you, Dana. And Sheriff, thanks for sharing your time with us, coming on. We appreciate, we know you're a busy man, but we're loving the opportunity to pick your brain and learn from you. But before we get started on to the key topic of the constitutional sheriff, we'd like to know a little bit about how you got started in law enforcement to begin with. Where'd you come from and who are you? Just a couple minutes.
Well, that's a good question too. Actually, I tried to get in the FBI because my dad retired from the FBI back in 1975. And I just thought of his 5 sons that I would be the one to follow in his footsteps. And that never panned out. For some reason, I just didn't score enough on one test or another. I tested 3 times and I do great on this test and then not on that one. Then they changed their tests and then blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it just didn't work out. And while I was waiting to hear from the FBI, I thought, well, it might look good if I was a cop first. And so I hired on with Provo Police Department in Provo, Utah. And right after I graduated from BYU, and I loved it. And I was really good at it. And I loved that they were involved in police athletic leagues and city athletic leagues. And I loved playing softball and basketball in those leagues. And I grew up as a all-star athlete in Safford, Arizona. And so I stayed on at Provo Police for 11 years. And after that, I moved home to Arizona. My wife and I are both from Arizona. And I ran for Graham County Sheriff. And that was really miraculous how that came about because neither one of my wife and I, we did not want to move home and run for sheriff. And I'm telling you, we did not want to move home and run for sheriff. But that is exactly
not on your radar.
That's
That is
God's
exactly
plan.
right. And that is exactly what we did. We both had the same epiphany happen at the same time that changed our minds, that we knew this was what we were supposed to do.
Right.
So I was elected sheriff in 1988. I was reelected in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became the first sheriff in American history to launch a major lawsuit against the federal government, against the overreach and the out of control gun control movement within the Clinton administration.
Right.
And they sent 3 agents of the BATF to a sheriff's association meeting and told us what we had to do to enforce federal law for them for free, without any negotiation, without any input, and with a threat of arrest if we failed to comply.
Oh, wow.
Comply.
So, and that I was the only one in Arizona to say, I'm not going to do it, and filed this lawsuit. I didn't see any way around it.
And this was
I
the
didn't see
Brady,
any
the
other
Brady
way that I
bill.
could do this without filing the suit.
Right.
You know,
Was-
I preach right now that sheriffs don't need to file suits. Just tell the federal government no.
Right.
And that is still true. But at the same time, we won. You want to talk about miracles? Miracle after miracle after miracle to get to the Supreme Court and then actually win. And Sheriff Prince and I were the two that ended up at the
Sheriff
Supreme
Prince,
Court on this
right.
case.
What led you
Only
to the
7 sheriffs joined this lawsuit. 7 out of 3,086.
Wow. What convinced you that you had that authority?
My oath of office.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can't say it any better than that. My oath of office.
Yeah. Yeah. You're actually, as a sheriff, a constitutional officer.
Yes.
Correct. And
Yeah.
of course, I've written a book about that. The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And
Yep.
regrettably, that book is becoming truer every day.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. So that was the Brady bill that you took on, is that right?
Yeah. A gun control scheme, the Supreme Court said, written by Justice Scalia, called it a gun control scheme, and it surely was.
Yeah.
It was a gun control scheme.
Well, the Brady bill was a gun control scheme.
That's what I'm saying. The Brady bill was a gun control scheme. They
Yeah.
try everything that they can possibly do to, we have something like that in Virginia right now. You can't leave it in your car, but you can't take it into a place, but you can't walk down an alley. You might as well leave it home.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's absolutely absurd, especially with everything that is going on right now. And we're running into all kinds of things right here with our new governor, Scambergler, who's trying to do everything that they can to take away our Second Amendment rights. And I know Scott knows a lot about this stuff because he was also in law enforcement and corrections. So this is a good conversation. Scott, you have anything you want to throw in here? Because I know you were in the middle of all this too.
Yeah, he's right about the sheriffs are the last best hope, but most people don't realize just how powerful the local sheriff is. I mean, it was set up that way from years ago, and the sheriff has a lot of power. And unfortunately, there's a lot of sheriffs. I don't think that there's a lot of sheriffs that realize the power that they have, and
They don't.
unfortunately, a lot of sheriffs buy into that political garbage, like the one here in Fairfax County that refuses to work with ICE, those kinds of things. It's a travesty. I don't understand it myself, but
None of us do.
I can sympathize with the running for office because I never planned on running for office myself, and then 2 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, I did myself, and it's been like an eye-opening experience and
It is.
interesting thing to do.
Yeah, everybody should have to do that once. It's really hard. It's really a difficult thing for the family.
It is.
I mean, you just make yourself a target.
Oh, I know. I found out really well.
Yeah, you Sheriff, you made yourself a target by setting up the Constitutional Sheriff's Peace Officer Association.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, if you look up on the internet all the horrible things that the leftist organizations, Southern Poverty Law Center, Anti-Defamation League,
Right.
IREHR, Politico, Washington Post, New York Times, Los Angeles Times. I mean, it goes on and on and on. All these leftist extremists, and man, I didn't know I was a white supremacist. I didn't know I was a bigot. Didn't know I was a racist. I wasn't raised that way. Completely opposite of who I am. Didn't know I was violent. I've never committed an act of violence in my life. In 20 years of law enforcement, I never shot anybody. I never beat anybody up. I've never in my life just hauled off and slugged anybody except one time in football practice. I did it once in football practice. But I've never slugged another human being. I've never hit, slapped, maced anybody. And I stopped fights. I tackled a couple of guys fighting. I pinned a guy up on a barroom fight once. And, I said, you're going to go to jail. It just depends. You want to go bloody or do you want to just cooperate?
That
But
is the
I never
perfect
beat anybody
definition.
up. And yet I have professed peaceful solutions my entire life, my entire career, but yet Southern Poverty Law Center still says I'm violent, and I promote paramilitary violence all the time. And where do they get
Wow.
this? And so anyway, the Southern Poverty Law Center actually about 20 years ago printed a retraction on me, but they went right back to lying about me right after that.
Yeah,
The Southern Poverty Law Center hasn't told me.
Southern
anyhow.
Poverty Law Center.
Yeah. But the thing of it is, law enforcement is not trained properly in this country. Each of it, we have this big ceremony, and the wives are there to pin on the badge, and they do all this hype. And the National Sheriff's Association every year has these big conferences, and they're in their tuxedos, and they take the oath of office, and
Sure.
none of them keep it. None of them even know why they take the oath.
Wow.
Tell me why any officer in this country, in any three branches of the government, why they take an oath of office. It's required by Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution. It's a law that we have to. But the question is, do you know the Constitution? And do you enforce and obey and uphold the Constitution?
No.
If you've never read it and you don't know it, it's impossible to keep your oath.
When
And
I
you're
would teach
violating the law.
I would teach the basic jail officers. I taught basic jail for 20 some odd years. And the first question when I would teach the legal classes, show of hands, how many of you have read the Constitution? And very few people would raise their hands. I said, do you always swear to uphold and defend something you've never read? And they just stare at you.
Yeah. They don't get it.
Well, you really sound like a radical there, Sheriff. I'm telling you, they can pin that right on you, I mean, it's so the people that really try to do what's right and uphold the law are the radical, extremist, right-wing people, and the other side that's beating the heck out of us for being this way are the nicest people that you'd ever want to run into. Like,
Yeah.
give me another summer of love.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Their solutions are always violent and
Every
burning
time.
police cars and burning down buildings in Portland and that summer of love in Seattle.
Yep.
And it's so radical and it's so un-American. And those who want to destroy America from within have to marginalize and attack those of us who actually believe in God-given American liberty.
The peace-loving Americans, the God peace-loving Americans. I mean, they're attack on Christians and name it. That if you're trying to do something good, we're the bad guys. Everything is just upside down. Charlie, I know you had another question.
Well, I was going to say that they're just following rules for radicals. You got to you got to be kind to them. But my question was, you're talking about the oath. Is that what led you into helping out oath keepers?
Well, it is because my books talk about that. And my first book, in fact, let me grab it here real quick.
Excellent.
My first book was From My Cold Dead Fingers.
And
actually that's a picture of my wife's hand holding my dad's old snub-nosed FBI
I love it.
Yeah, don't you like that old FBI special there?
I love it.
I do.
And hold that up again, Sheriff, because I think our guys would love to get their hands on this book. I mean, we've got Tom Caldwell. He was nailed for Oath Keepers. Okay. But it's incredible. And he wrote mouths of the wicked, which is just, it shows you where they broke down all of our constitutional rights. He got thrown in, oath keepers again.
Okay, so I wrote this book in 1994, and then I
And it came true.
rewrote it in 1999. I haven't changed it since then. But look at the chapter. This is the afterword. This is at the end of the book, and it's called. Can you see the title on the chapter?
Afterward, to uphold and defend.
This is a plea to every law enforcement officer about the need to keep our oath of office, to uphold and defend, just as we promised to do in our oath of office. So it's an open letter to fellow police officers from Sheriff Richard I. Mack. And this is all about the oath of office.
Right.
So this was way before Stuart Rhodes came along with Oath Keepers. And I was really dedicated to the oath of office. And I wanted the rest of law enforcement in the entire country to wake up and realize that we were part of the problem. That we swear an oath in God's name, and then we summarily ignore it. And that was 99% of every police officer in this country, because they didn't understand the difference between being a police officer and a peace officer, which what really we're called. And most states have a uniform code to keep our certification, and it's called AZ Post. Peace Officer Standard and Training. Utah Post, UT Post, Peace Officer Standards and Training. Texas is TCLO, but it's still similar to that. Everybody has a post certification, ongoing training that you have to get 40 hours every year to keep your certification.
Peace Officer Standard and Training.
Peace Officer Standards and Training. And so my whole deal is, we're dedicated to keeping our oath. And then Stuart came along in like 2009. Yeah, 2009. And I said, man, I did a V8 moment. I go, why didn't I think of this national organization? So I joined, but I quit in 2016.
Okay.
And I never thought Stuart was dishonest or a bad guy. Never.
That's what
I still don't. And he certainly didn't deserve to be in prison. That's for damn sure. But the left wanted him in prison, and so they gave him 18 years, and he wasn't even there on January 6th. He wasn't even there, but he got 18 years in prison because it was a political arrest.
Right.
But this is the thing I want to tell everybody. I want everybody to be sure they know why I quit in 2016. Because they went, and Stuart admitted this. And it was in the bylaws. And I was on the board of directors. And he took it to a militia. And the bylaw said the Oath Keepers is not a militia.
Yeah.
Neither are we.
And they went to that. And I said, Stuart, CSPOA cannot go there. We are not a militia.
We couldn't either.
And our entire effort is peaceful process.
Right.
And then they sent the Oath Keepers to Ferguson to stand guard with rifles and military weaponry. And I said, if that's what you guys want to do, that's fine. You know, I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying it's wrong or evil. I would never say that. Right. Because defending people there that couldn't defend themselves and their own property was probably a good thing. But I said, CSPOA cannot go there. Our entire organization is based on peaceful and effective solutions, and we still are. And so I still get reamed by these leftist organizations. And there's another thing that they assail me about, that I promote violence. Then why did I tell everybody not to go to January 6th? And there wasn't one single hat from CSPOA, not one single shirt, not one single lapel pin. The shirt I have on right now, that's our dress shirt. We have T-shirts, we have polo shirts, we have baseball caps. In fact, my baseball caps are, there it is.
Yep, and we're members. I don't know if you know that, but we're members of CSPOA.
Well, you should be. Everybody.
We just renewed.
Everybody should be, and everybody should have this book. Now, folks, where do you get this book and the other one called The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope? CSPOA.org. Okay, just go to CSPOA.org. And I got to tell you this too. when this miraculous Supreme Court case and this victory for sheriffs and for the American people came out,
Right.
I studied the case over and over. I mean, for days.
This is great.
And it was amazing.
Right.
And I put all the highlights in this little booklet.
Victory for state sovereignty.
Okay.
He's
And
a sovereign,
it's only
sovereign
16
sheriff.
pages, but it fits right here in your pocket. And it's so you can read this in 10 minutes, but you really need to study this. And you know what Scalia does? He wrote this for the majority, and it was a 5-4 split. We barely won, but we won nonetheless. It was a huge victory. It was the most powerful 10th Amendment federalism case in the history of America.
Hanging on by a
with
thread.
Scalia.
Yeah, yes, right. And so Scalia actually quotes the Federalist Papers several times in this case. This is the most powerful tool for freedom and one of the most powerful books in existence, except for the Bible and the Constitution.
I love it.
And everybody should get this. And look, I opened it up to this. Listen to this quote. The Constitution thus contemplates that a state's government will represent and remain accountable to its own citizens. Folks,
In other words, they work for us, we the people.
yeah, exactly. Only within the parameters of the Constitution. Because the people can't tell me to violate my oath. The people can't tell me to violate the law. Sometimes they'll ask you to do the wrong thing. And I have to say, I promised that I would serve and protect you within an oath of office that requires me to enforce the Constitution.
Could you email that to Governor Spanberger?
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah,
and how about your AG? Who,
Isn't that right?
Yeah. You know, he needs to go to our training. But listen to this quote from the Federalist 51. Hence, a double security, I have this memorized. Hence, a double security arises to the rights of the people. And let me pause for a moment. How could that happen that there's a double security to the rights of the people? That's what Scalia was promoting here from Federalist 51. Quoting again, the different governments will control each other. At the same time, the each will be controlled by itself. There's the double protection. So the sheriff, being a different government, has the responsibility to keep the other governments in check. And if he's outside the Constitution, other governments have the responsibility to keep him there. Because
it all starts with you.
The goal in America is to what? Protect
the Constitution.
Individual liberty. Liberty comes first in America, not programs, not politics, not this ridiculous charade that the Democrats are playing today.
Amen.
It's freedom comes first.
Love it. Love it.
I absolutely love it. Charlie, we're going to order those for our members of Mount Patriots.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So given there are some people that are truly constitutional sheriffs and some that aren't,
right?
What advice could you give the current sheriffs on what to do and why it's important?
Well, first, they've got to understand their oath of office, and I would highly recommend that they have constitutional training. We offer a class on that, but so does Chris Ann Hall. And I would recommend highly that you get the training. You can call us. We can help set you up for that. But sheriffs, let's be really honest here with each other. There's a great dearth of training when it comes to law enforcement and the Constitution. And we cannot avoid that. We cannot do our jobs. If we don't even know what form of government we have in America, I mean, the brainwashed America public and educational system that we're a democracy.
No, we're not.
That's a lie.
No, republic.
That is absolutely a lie.
Right.
It's not just a mistake. Oh, well, we do some things democratic. Yes, but that's part of our republic. It's not
exactly
democracy. The founders, all of them, assailed democracy. They were scared to death of democracy.
Right.
There's
Mob
been
rule.
failed democracies.
Mob
This
rule,
was a
exactly.
republic, but a constitutional republic. And if you don't know the difference and you don't even know what form of government we have, how are you going to be a leader in that government to protect it and defend it and keep your oath of office, and you've never read the Constitution and you don't know the difference between a republic and a democracy, and you don't even know that we're not a democracy and that some people have lied to you about that? So first of all, you've got to be trained and you've got to be educated. You've got to know what your job was all about in the begin with, and that's what we present. And our training has about 50% of it, maybe even more, is about this case. Because I would ask every sheriff in this country, did you know that there were 7 sheriffs in 1994 that sued the federal government, took it all the way to the United States Supreme Court, and won a major landmark case? Were you aware of that? Oh, yeah, I guess I heard that Sheriff Mack kind of did that sort of thing. No, I've never heard of it. Would you not be obliged lawfully and morally to know and
look
understand
into
what
it.
that case was about?
Right.
Have you, I know you've never read it. That would be even less than those who have not read the Constitution. Wouldn't you be obliged to know why the only time in history where sheriffs won a case at the U.S. Supreme Court? Wouldn't you be curious to know what that was about? But don't you have a moral and lawful obligation to know what that was about? Well,
Let me ask you a question, Sheriff.
You would think.
You just brought up something really important, because I watch what's going on in Congress and Senate and almost everywhere when you get into public service. So many of these people are either blackmailed or they're scared to death of what might happen to them. So I put on my full armor of God every morning. I mean, whatever happens to me is what God has planned for me. I don't know when my start date is or my end date is, but there's so many people that are scared to death to stand up for what is right. They're afraid they'll lose their job, or somebody's going to egg their house.
They might lose their retirement.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And
they're afraid of that. My kid goes to a private school. I can't give that up.
Let me give you the answer to that.
That's where I'm asking you.
Okay, Sheriff, you mean you're willing to compromise the liberty of the people in your county so you can keep your retirement for money? But Sheriff, let me tell you, I know you're a good person, but I got to tell you this, okay? We already have enough political prostitutes in Washington, D.C. We don't need any more in Virginia.
Amen.
We don't need any more in California. Know and understand your job. Know and understand your oath of office. Enforce the rule of law. Stand for liberty, and let the consequences fall where they may. You're going to be fine when you do that.
Nice.
And respected. This is some of the stuff that we have to get back. This is what this whole country was founded on. So many people bled for this country, and now we're afraid because our kid won't be able to go to school. You know, Charlie will tell you, most of us that are running Mountain Patriots gave up our jobs. Well, we have a saying about people say, oh, they use this Mountain Patriot thing to make money. No, we make less. Charlie laughs all the time. What do we make, Charlie?
Less than zero.
Less than zero. It's all about what we need to do to save this, because I've got more years behind me than I do ahead of me. What am I going to leave? What legacy do I want to be remembered for God and country when it comes down to it? And people are more concerned about themselves than they are about the good of our kids and the people, the trafficking that's going on, what they're teaching our kids in school. Are you not concerned about this? Well, you know, my kid goes to a private school. I'm okay. And I got to have that vacation. And I mean, it just, with us. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, I got a thunk. If the sheriffs really need this training, which they do, obviously,
I'm loving it.
what about us civilians? I mean, if we're going to elect a sheriff that's a
we do it for both. But I'm glad. Let me respond to the part about the
start us at the beginning. That would be great.
Okay, every single person in this country should be a member of the CSPOA.
I agree.
Okay. Then we train you. Every Wednesday, we have a CSPOA posse webinar.
Yeah,
and we help train you to work with your sheriff. What's the question you should ask your sheriff? How involved should you be with the sheriff?
How can
Should
I
you
help you?
help your sheriff
Can I
form a
help?
posse? Should
That's
you
what we
be
want
on
to
his
do.
posse? So look, folks, some sheriffs get really scared to death when you say the word posse
Right.
or the oath of office. It's no big deal. You know what? Every sheriff in this country already has posses. It's called a search and rescue squad. All of them use
Right.
volunteers, and they're volunteers. And we want you to do that. Look, I'm not giving you another job. Okay, citizens, I know you have families. I know some of you are mothers and fathers. Great. We love that. We're saying spend an hour or two a week. Some people want to do more. Some people really want to be involved. Some want to ride along and do ride-alongs with the police and the sheriffs and the deputies. Great, do it. Some local police departments and sheriff's offices offer citizen police academies. Some people want to go do that. Go ahead.
That's my wife.
Being involved is essential. Having a relationship with your sheriff is essential because you're his only boss. Let me say that again. The sheriff
the government
only reports to
the
you.
people. Right.
That's right.
He doesn't report to a bureaucrat. He doesn't report to the town manager or county manager. He doesn't report to the county commissioners. He doesn't report to the county attorney. He works with all of them. Okay?
He reports
But
to the
he
people.
reports to you. And therein lies his power and therein lies his independence because he reports directly to the power source, we the people. Folks, if you're not involved in the solution,
You're
then the
part of it.
solution will not happen.
And you're
And
part of
we're
the problem.
offering
Gotta be
you
part of
a
it.
solution on a silver platter. We're offering you involvement, and being part of a peaceful and effective solution might be the only one we have left, to be quite honest with you. Okay. Am I glad Trump's there? Yes. Is he doing a good job? Pretty damn good job. And
Agreed.
we've got to have his back. The sheriffs need to have his back. The sheriffs need to have Tom Homan's back. And you know what the
yes.
difference between Florida and Minnesota is that the sheriffs are involved in Florida 100%. 100% of the sheriffs, doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican, they are involved 100%. Is Minnesota? No. The sheriffs are all cowering behind their desks and wondering when this is all going to get over so they don't get hurt politically and that they can win their next election. Sheriffs, I know there's some good sheriffs in Minnesota. Stand up, do your jobs. If you're united in helping with deportation, all of this is going to go away.
Yeah.
And the law is going to be enforced and the people will be defended. Why are not the sheriffs out there making sure that these protesters are being protected and that they're not breaking the law,
Right.
and that the lawful assignment and duty of ICE is being conducted peacefully, safely, and effectively?
Exactly.
Why aren't you making sure of that?
Exactly.
Good
They have the
question.
right to we all have the right to protest, but not to go out
Let
there
them
and
protest
protest
all they
and
want. They
and
just
beat
can't
the heck
violate
out
the
of
law.
people over it. Right.
They can't obstruct, and that's the biggest problem there. You can't obstruct.
I want to backpedal. Just you made a good point, and I found this out myself. The elected officials in this country, and it doesn't matter if you're a senator, congressman, or just a lowly school board person like myself. You had better make up your mind that you're going to do what you swore you were going to do. I mean, even in my own little world, I was told you're going to do it this way. I'm going to do it the way that's the right way, whatever the outside influences is. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do and sworn to do. And that's the problem. These people, they get in there and I'm worried about the next election. I don't care if I ever get reelected or not. I'm not looking for the next reelection. I'm looking to do what I set out to do. And that's what everybody needs to do.
I agree.
Hey, you guys, I have to take this call real quick. Keep it going. Keep it going. I'll be right back.
Fantastic. Okay. Charlie, this is exactly, we are members, and for anybody who's listening to us today, we are members of CSPOA. Okay. I got a chance, the opportunity to see Sheriff Mack on so many of these different presentations with Clay Clark and the Reawaken tour where Patrick Byrne was on there, Kash Patel was there, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, nothing's happening. We're not going to be able to take our country back." Well, what are you, the American people, or just people? Let's talk to people in Virginia here, Charlie. What are you doing besides posting on social media what you think is wrong with stuff? What are you doing to help take our country back? And you
Well,
say,
I say join CSPOA
and Mountain Patriots.
and Mountain Patriots.
And Mountain
But
Patriots.
what one of the things that this is an opportunity to do
This is great.
is to learn more about CSPOA, become aggressive in pushing membership to everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, because when you hear the title, well, I'm not one of those. I'm not a sheriff. Um, listen, if you don't know how to elect a constitutional sheriff,
Don't vote.
you deserve what you got.
Don't vote. If you don't know what you're voting for.
Oh, but even here
vote.
in Virginia, how many people now are screaming about the prices here in Virginia? The lady that was on the thing about her electric
Gas
bill going up. We elected a moderate. They voted for a moderate because they were afraid of the candidate who was supposed to be radical and a gun nut. And then the moderate gets in there and they say, and find out that they're really not moderate. I mean, we knew this coming down the pike. These people, no one educates themselves. It's like they throw gum against the wall, and that's the one I'm going to vote for. And I've seen it before where they come in to vote, as I was a precinct captain for all those years.
And they ask who to vote for.
They get on their phone and try and look the person up, and then their phone doesn't work. Can you tell me who to vote for? Can you tell me about this candidate? If you don't know by now, you shouldn't be voting. It's ridiculous.
One of the things that that Annie and I talk about is that when the Democrats get elected, that's a testimony to the effectiveness of the propaganda that's out there in the media. I mean, and when the word propaganda, call it training, indoctrination, whatever. They're continually pounding, so they hate Trump more than they love their country.
Well, absolutely.
This is going to be a prime example for the midterms. Everybody, the people that are in charge, i.e. Trump now, is going to get blamed for whatever's happening in your wallet.
Yeah.
Virginia's taxes are going up like to 38% or something, I think I read. So everybody's going to be mad at Trump, but he's not the one that's implementing all these policies. The moderates are implementing all these taxes on your gym membership, on your car repairs, on your home repairs, on your DoorDash, on your Amazon. All these taxes that they're going to now have to pay, and they're going to look at what Trump's doing. Like the lady that was pumping her gas and said, under Biden, I could fit $90 worth of gas in my tank, and now I can only fit $60. I'm like, are you serious? Do you really realize what you just said? But they're focusing on, well, it's got to be Trump and the Republicans, so we're going to vote Democrat, and never really looking past who is the root cause of this. It is the people that aren't following the Constitution. It's the people that aren't understanding the great thing that we were given by our founding fathers. Just like the sheriff said, remember when we went and saw Senator Warner several months ago, and he was quoting Ben Franklin. It says, they asked Ben Franklin, what do you have? And he said, a democracy. If you can keep it. And that's not what Franklin said. He said a republic. And everybody's going, oh, he said a democracy. That's not what he said. I wanted to get up and scream it, but I knew I'd get beat up if I'd said it. Yeah.
And that's
but we can't be afraid of this, guys. And there's so many people that are out there. When you try to have a conversation with somebody, they will try to scream you down. And it's like, why don't you go look it up? Just look it up. And I've been on a few of these webinars. Charlie knows that I look at everything. But if you sit on one of the CSPOA webinars on a Wednesday night, okay, when I have time, it is absolutely amazing what these guys actually do. It's all common sense. And I like the word, it's constitutional sheriffs and peace officers. We are peace officers. We're out there. If you ever been someplace, like he was saying, in a bar fight, you're like, hey guys, look, let's just chill out. Let's be cool. You know, peace officer. There are so many things and so many tools that we have right now with what we have. Plus, one of the reasons that we have Sheriff Mack on here is to hear it from somebody who can teach us what to look for. And when you put this together, he was saying oath keepers, look what happened to Caldwell. And he is one of those follow the Constitution people.
And he wasn't even an oath keeper. He had
He
his
wasn't
phone
even an
number
oath
in an
keeper.
oath keeper's telephone.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
It is absolutely unbelievable. But what I'd like to do, Charlie, I mean, he was talking about the 7 sheriffs in 1994 to go to the Supreme Court. Too many people are afraid to step into the limelight. They're afraid to get their house egged. They're afraid to get their tires flat. You're going to end up in a cell. You're going to end up in a re-education camp. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to say that to me as a kid. He goes, Dana, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Now, I've heard that all my life. Always tell the truth. It's easy to remember. People
I learned
never
that the
have
hard
enough
way.
time to do things right, but they always have enough time and energy and money to do them over. Okay. And always treat people like you deserve to be treated. If you do those things, you should be fine. Okay. You should be fine. But these 7 sheriffs in 1994 actually won at the Supreme Court. Sheriff Opio I used to follow Sheriff Joe back in the day and listen to him, and he made sense to me too, you know? And I'm watching, what Sheriff Mack's done. I've heard Sheriff Mack so many times on Reawaken Tour. And then I watched him on one of my favorite shows, and give a plug here, X22 Report on Rumble. Dave Nazipso did a phenomenal presentation with Sheriff Mack on this. And I'm also glad that he is sharing the tools that we can use and have, and we can spread out to our mountain patriots right here in Winchester and Frederick County that we can use to teach people, because we are an educational ministry. Let's take this stuff like we do with the Constitution and the other things that we do and start teaching these things, Charlie. What say you?
Absolutely. I think there's few things that are more important to do than what you just described. Because yelling in the wind isn't going to get us anywhere.
We're 3 minutes at the board.
And the more we can do some things of substance, the better. And I think educating everyone on, not just in Frederick County, but everywhere, on the importance of knowing what a constitutional sheriff means, what authorities they have, why it's good to have them and to support them for the health and well-being and survival of this country.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
we're this close.
Extreme importance, and like he said, the Supreme Court decision 4-5, that's awful close.
Yeah.
We're a thread away from being taken over, and I think we need to do what we can in the education of not just this, but education of what Spanberger is doing.
Well, you know what I was thinking also, Charlie?
Doing.
I'm thinking about the training. I have to do 16 to 20 hours of continuing education in order to keep my life, health, and annuities license. I've been doing it for a long time. There's a 40-hour course that he's talking about, which is training. I am wondering how many of our constitutional sheriffs, our sheriffs here and in Virginia, actually take that 40 hours worth of training. Scott, did you see that when you were
now the sheriff is a little different here.
But we can pass this on down the line, can't we?
Since the sheriff is a constitutional officer.
Correct.
Now, as far as I was as a correctional officer, and one time I was a deputy sheriff when I got hired by the sheriff's office. As a police officer, correctional officer, deputy sheriff, whatever, you have mandated training that you have to do through Department of Criminal Justice Services. You have to have 40 hours every 2 years of in-service training.
Okay.
Even the jail superintendents have to do that. The police chief has to do that. The sheriff is a little different since he is a constitutionally elected person. He does not have to be a certified law enforcement officer, so he doesn't have to go through all that stuff. He can if he wants to, and
Right.
usually the sheriff is a certified law enforcement officer.
Right.
But if
Good information.
if you were a trash truck driver and you ran for sheriff, you got enough people to run for you, you could be sheriff, and you don't have to have the law enforcement background. So you're not bound by that because you have the elected office. So they don't necessarily have to take that. I'm sure that they do have training that they can take. I mean, he can go to in-service training and all that stuff too, but he is
Right.
not. He doesn't have to keep a certification like I did when I was a correctional officer, or like a deputy does that, or a police officer does, because he's not bound by that because he gets elected.
So we get a certification and then turn our back on it. We go
Well,
through. I mean, if you know, one of the things that one of the things I have to do every other year, the first thing I have to do is ethics. I have to take an ethics course every 2 years.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
back.
Oh, Sheriff, this has been great because it got us a chance to to throw a couple ideas around that you've given us that we can do here.
Yeah, we're not at a
Okay.
loss for words.
Whoa,
Yeah, well,
wow.
okay.
I mean, it was actually perfect timing for us to be able to do that. But us being able to get the materials to make sure that our sheriffs are taking that 40 hours, because I was explaining that I do life, health, and disability and annuities. I have to take an ethics course. I have to take fraud courses. I have to take money laundering courses, and I'm an insurance agent. Okay, so there are certain things. Now I have to have errors and omissions insurance. If I miss something, I'm going to get held accountable. What about our sheriffs? Go ahead, Charlie.
We got 4 minutes.
Okay.
So honoring what you need to get on to the next one, Sheriff, if there's one thing that you could change or to get across to people in this country, what would it be?
There is a solution. There's very few of them that are really valid, but we must return to those basic fundamental principles upon which America was founded if we're going to find solutions for what's going on today. Everything that the Democrats proposing, sometimes the Republicans as well, because they keep chasing after the Democrats, everything they're proposing takes us further and further away from the foundational principles that America was based on.
Intentionally.
Intentionally so. You don't destroy America without destroying those foundational principles.
Right.
And that's what's going on. We must return, as a society, we must return to those basic fundamental principles, or America is dead. And so if we're going to have a restoration, we have to go back to those principles. The Constitution, God, family, and country, and the rule of law.
Yeah.
If we do that, we're going to win. If we don't, we're part of the problem. And so that's why I ask each and every one of you, go to our website, cspoa.org, become a member of our posse.
Yes.
It's a whopping $11 a month.
Right.
And yes, that keeps us funded. It keeps us going. That's the only funding we get. Okay. So nobody's really out of, if somebody wants to donate 10,000, 100,000, a million, we need all of that. Absolutely. Let's do it, because we want to do a national conference with sheriffs. One big national conference where we have 1,000, 1,200 sheriffs in
We
one
talked
room
about that.
where we get going. We've got to do that, folks. I'm busy. I go all over the country doing meetings here with 10 sheriffs here, 20 sheriffs here, 50 sheriffs here. Our first one back in 2012, we had 95 sheriffs. That's been the biggest. Folks, we've got to make this bigger, better, and faster. Our country is dying. We've got to do something to do it now. We can't wait anymore. We've got to get moving. There is a solution. There is a peaceful and effective solution that we can all be a part of. Jefferson warned us, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. He was talking to us, the people, not to government. He was talking to us. We've got to get involved. What did Patrick Henry call it? The holy cause of liberty. That's what we've got to be involved in. So that's it. There's a solution. Be part of it, or watch America die.
Absolutely.
Thank
Sheriff,
you.
I want to
Well
thank
said.
you. I want to
You're
thank you so much for taking the time. I hope we can get you back on here again and we can
Let's
talk
do it.
about
We
our
obviously
progress.
have a lot more to talk about. So, and
We
I'm
have a
sorry I
lot
had
to
that
talk
interruption,
about.
but I had to take that. Sorry, but
It's okay.
anyway,
And we are members. Okay. We'll have to appoint somebody that'll be on there on Wednesday nights to be able to report to us because we do a lot of that
it's during
stuff.
the day. Actually, it's during the day.
Oh, good.
But
Yeah, it is
they
during the
play it
day.
later at night. So yeah, so make sure that you're on that list, on our posse list, so that we can make sure you get the email invite.
I do.
Okay. Oh, okay. Good. Perfect.
Oh, I get them all, and I've talked to
Yeah.
a couple of your.
Well, do
I've
we
talked
want
to a
all
couple
of your
folks
listeners
too.
to do the
I'm not
same?
there yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, get on there on that. You can help. And thank you so much for having me, you guys. Thank you.
Sheriff
Pleasure to
Mack,
meet
go
you.
go do your thing. God bless you, and we will talk to you again soon, folks.
You got it.
Thank you so much, Sheriff Mack.
Thank you, Sheriff.
You got it.
Have a great day.
God bless.
Charlie, that's one of the most inspirational things that I've heard and
Stop
teaching moments
recording.
that we've had so far, because we don't know the law enforcement parts of it or have somebody that is that high up that has done so much like Sheriff Mack has, to be able to bring this together. For all of you that are listening, and I want you to share this, like what you see here, share it everywhere. This isn't just for you to listen to and go, wow, that was pretty cool. If we want to save our country, and we have to think about, we're concerned mostly, first off, with Frederick County, then our state, okay, and then the nation. Okay. And we all have to do our parts here. And if we do our parts like this, share this, tell people to watch what's going on, to join CSPOA, come to our Mountain Patriot meetings and see how you can get involved locally. And I think that we can take this country back. I really do. Charlie, what do you think?
I think it's time for a prayer.
I do too. Scott, do you want to do the Mountain Patriots prayer for us this morning? Would you like me to?
Go ahead, brother.
Folks, first of all, thank you for being here today. Like, share, subscribe. But this is our Mountain Patriots prayer written by our good friend Charlie Market. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful world in a country that you have given us and the patriots who are willing to care for it. Thank you for inspiring our founders to create this beautiful republic. And please help us to keep it as the inspiring place to live. Please give us the wisdom to do the right things, the common sense to judge wisely, the energy to never give up, and your unending grace in which we take comfort. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Keep coming back, folks. Have a very, very blessed day. And as we always say at the end of every one of these podcasts, what is it?
It's in the book.
Guys, have a blessed day. We'll see you all next time on the Mountain Patriots Educational Ministries 3%. You all stay blessed
God bless.
today.